Enoch extends instruction from the Father to his Son, as well as the handwriting contained in his books. And now, my children, lay thought on your hearts. Mark well the words of your father, Enoch, which are all come to you from the Lord's lips. Take these books of your father's handwriting and read them. For the books are many, and in them you will learn all the Lord's works, all that has been from the beginning of creation, and will be till the end of time. And if you will observe my handwriting, you will not sin against the Lord, because there is no other except the Lord, neither in heaven nor in earth, nor in the very lowest places, nor in the foundation. The Lord has placed the foundations in the unknown, and has spread forth the heavens, both visible and invisible, which, by the way, is also the likeness or the image, which man was made. And then, of course, from the rib in the man, the woman was taken. Hence, male and female, patterned after the male and female animals, and before that, the male waters above and the female waters below. Now, the Lord has placed the foundations in the unknown, has spread forth the heavens, visible and invisible. He fixed the earth on the waters. He called forth the dry land there on the third day, and created countless creatures. And who has counted the water in the foundation of the unfixed, or the dust of the earth, or the sand of the sea, or the drops of the rain, or the morning dew, or the wind's breathings? Who has filled earth and sea, and the indissoluble winter? I cut the stars out of fire, and decorated heaven, and put it in their midst. Quite the resume. I did so that the sun go along the 7 heavenly circuits, which are the appointment of 182 thrones. 182 thrones is half of the 364 days. There are 4 days that are outside of the other 360, and for a total of 182 what are called thrones in the heavens. 182 being 26 weeks, or half of 364. And it says that it goes down on a short day, winter solstice, and again 182, that it goes down on a big day, summer solstice. And he has 2 thrones on which he rests, or ceases, revolving hither and thither above the thrones of the months. Did you see what just happened? The thrones on which he rests, namely the 2, are above the thrones of the months. This is in keeping with Enoch's testimony of 366 and a quarter stadia. He said 61 and a quarter stadia, and there's 6 of them. We'll talk more about that. They're stations. I mentioned previously in another segment. From the 17th day of the month of Sivan, it goes down to the month of Thivan. From the 17th of Thivan, it goes up. So that's paralleled there in the flood account. And thus it goes close to the earth, and the earth is glad and makes grow its fruits. And when it goes away, the earth is sad, and the trees and all the fruits have no fluorescence. So they lose all their foliage. The difference between hot and cold, the 2 major seasons in the beginning, borne out in summer and winter. And he measured with good measurement the measurement of hours, and fixed by a measure his wisdom of the visible and the invisible. That again is the principal nature that how man is made, both visible and invisible. I've said before, I think at one of the previous meetings, I posited the question whether or not anybody had been in the room when someone dies. And if you've ever seen an animal die or a human being die, what happens is the breath leaves, the spirit, and which the Enoch says is created from the Father's spirit and the wind. That's what that's what man's breath is comprised of. And when that spirit leaves, then the light leaves. The light in the eye dims. It happens with the animals. I've seen it many times. And that's the invisible nature departing. And it is very real. Messiah did this, and into your hands I commit my spirit, and he breathed his last. Well, then the light would have left his eyes. You are light. You are a city on a hill which cannot be hidden. You're the light of the world, the salt of the earth, but preservative. And so we are beings of light. That's why we're called sons of the light and sons of the day. And of course, daughters. And this he measured with good measurement of hours, and fixed by measure the wisdom of the visible and the invisible. From the invisible he made all things visible, himself being invisible. Notice the preposition, from. That shows the ownership. So the natural visible realm belongs to the former invisible, and what we would call spiritual. Thus I make known to you, my children, and distribute the books to you, your children, into all your generations, and amongst the nations who shall have the sense to fear God, let them receive them. And may they come to love them more than any food or earthly sweets, and read them and apply themselves to them. And those who understand not the Lord, who fear not God, who accept not but reject, who do not receive the books, a terrible judgment awaits these. It is going to hit you hard. And I'm just going to be real transparent. It is entirely wanton and lacking in the overwhelming majority of established institutions. Show me an assembly anywhere that's got any form of infrastructure, whether it be building or monetary means of significance, that is doing active quality teaching, what Enoch describes as carrying this load, which he acknowledges is burdensome. And it's burdensome because people don't want to hear it. Show me an institution that's doing that. There just aren't many. And those who understand not the Lord, who fear not God, who accept not but reject, who do not receive the books, a terrible judgment awaits these. Blessed is the man who shall bear their yoke, and shall, look at this, drag them along. Isn't that interesting how he acknowledges that to do this is to bear a load, and you're going to have to drag it because it's heavy. For he shall be released on the day of great judgment. Enoch instructs his sons not to swear either by heaven or earth. I swear to you, my children, but I swear not by any oath. I was compelled to investigate this verse a little bit when I saw Assad place his right hand on the book and take an oath to do a thing. You got to be careful when you band together with your brothers and sisters and cohorts and crime and whatnot to do a thing, because when you're bound by mutual imprecation, and that's what happened. And you tie yourselves together with people, and oftentimes you might fail or they might fail, and that creates a terrible unequal yoke. And worse still is to band together under a sworn oath to do something that the Father forbids or loathes or otherwise is opposed to, which is exactly what Assad is doing in Damascus, Syria, which will soon be eradicated, destroyed, a ruinous heap. Swear not by an oath, neither by heaven, nor by earth, nor by any other creature which God created. The Lord said, there is no oath in me, nor injustice, but instead truth. In the apostolic writings, he says, looking around and finding no other, he swore by himself. It's pretty incredible. If there is no truth in men, let them swear by the words yea, yea, or else nay, nay. Think about the British House of Commons when they're voting, and it's yea, 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 and they get all worked up about it. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. And I swear to you, yea, yea, that there has been no man in his... watch this. There has been no man in his mother's womb, not even one, but that already before, even to each and every one, there is a place prepared for the repose of that soul, and a measure fixed how much it is intended that a man be tried in this world. That's what we were talking about over there when we were at the table. There has never been a man born and knit together in his mother's womb that has not beforehand, every single one, had a measure fixed to how they will be tried in this world. Yea, children, deceive not yourselves, for there has been previously prepared a place for every soul of man. None born on earth can remain hidden, nor his work remain concealed, but God bids us to be meek, to endure attack and insult, and not to offend widows and orphans. We're 50 sections deep in this, and if you can't see that this is a wellspring of wisdom and replete with principles backed up in the canonical sources and the Tanakh and the Dead Sea Scrolls and the apostolic writings, I don't know what you'll see, to be transparent. That's true religion defined in the apostolic writings there, the taking care of the widows and orphans and the poor among you. He's going to go into some detail about that. And he's also going to talk about the judgment that will befall people who apprehend their brother and lay hands on them and put them in a cage. Because here's what's happening. I mean, look at the news. Man was created to have dominion. There's a whole host of options that are prescribed to deal with a man that has exercised improper dominion, indefinite incarceration not being among them. So that's the anathema to having dominion and conquering and subduing and filling the earth, is to be confined and put in a cage. Or worse, with little boys, to be strapped down to a chair 5 days a week learning minutia in public school systems. Their little boys are made to like move and wiggle, and so are little girls. And to confine them is that's why you have to subdue them and force them to do it, and to teach them the arts and things that their little hearts aren't inclined to natively. Enoch says, I put every man's work in writing, the Father through Enoch. I have put every man's work in writing, and none born on earth can remain hidden, nor his works remain concealed. I see all things. I used to hear in church that God can't look upon sinful flesh. No, you're sneaky. He's not up there doing this while you do whatever it is you're doing. Now therefore, my children, in patience and meekness spend the number of your days, that you inherit endless life. Endure for the sake of the Lord every wound, every injury, every evil word and attack. If ill requitals befall you, return them not either to neighbor or enemy, because the Lord will return them for you and be your avenger on the day of great judgment. And there be no avenging here among men. Whoever of you spends gold or silver for his brother's sake, he will receive ample treasure in the world to come. Injure not widows and orphans nor strangers, lest God's wrath come upon you.